Okay, this is Bill Markley. It's August 26th, 2013, and I'm talking with James and Tom Moore. And guys, thanks a lot for talking with me. Let's start out with some basic things. What can you tell me your birth dates, please? And actually, maybe just for the sake of the recording, say your name first and then your birth date.
This is Jim Moore. My birthday is 8/30/52.
This is Tom Moore. My birthday is September 14th, 1953.
Okay. And were you guys born in Newark or Licking County?
Newark.
I was
Newark.
born in the old Newark Hospital. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other siblings?
Yeah, we have plenty of them. 15 or so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't have to get into the names at all. What were the names of your biological parents? Do you know that?
Jim and Betty.
Okay. Okay.
We do have I think you covered it years ago, back in 1990. A brother of ours, Donnie Danielson, died in the Gulf
okay.
War.
Oh, in the Gulf War.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, he was adopted out of the children's home.
Really? Huh.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Some people associate that with us.
Yeah, that's good to know. Okay. And what was his name again?
Donald Danielson.
Okay.
Donald Danielson.
Okay. All right. Good. Thanks. Okay. Now, have you guys stayed in Licking County most of the time since the children's home, or have you lived anywhere else in the country much?
I live in Chandlersville, Ohio.
Okay.
I've lived in Muskingum County majority of the time since I've left the children's home.
Okay. Okay.
I've pretty much lived in Lincoln County. I lived in Florida for about 4.5, 5 years. That's about it. Most of the time spent here in the Newark area.
Okay. All right. Good. Now, what years exactly, if you remember, were you in the children's home?
I went in August of 1958. Just before my 6th birthday. Just
Okay.
a couple days. I didn't even realize it was my birthday.
Yeah.
And they had a thing they called a birthday table, and they put me on that, and I couldn't figure out why. And then they told me, "This is your birthday this month." So every month they would have a birthday table, everybody's birthday that month.
Okay.
But I was there until the early 1969.
Okay.
So I was 10.5 years or so. I was
Okay.
there.
Okay.
I was taken to the children's home in the spring of 1961, and I left in early 1970.
Okay. All right. Good.
I'd like to add that Tom couldn't. He was too young at the time, but him and Don both had tuberculosis.
Huh.
So they put them. They were
Right over here at Price
They were
Road.
here at the.
Really?
They were the last two actually there.
Really?
Before they closed it down.
We've got some of their records, and they're a mess. We're trying to get them together. Do you remember much about that?
Yes, I do.
Do you?
I remember a great deal.
Huh.
I was awful young at the time, and I remember my father taking me there, and that's the last time I saw my father.
Yeah.
But I remember myself and Donnie being there, and I do have memories of it.
Was it like hospital rooms set up along the hallways there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks like when you walk down the hall now, it would be like hospital rooms off to the side. But
Right. We weren't allowed to go too far in but being the naughty little boy that I was all over the
oh yeah,
hospital.
you couldn't resist exploring a place like that. I think.
Right.
Did you recovered okay then while you were there?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. What would you say if you have any memories? Well, you mentioned about it was your birthday, around your birthday when you went to the children's home. Do you have any other memories of like the first day or the first few days there? What it was like?
I'll never. I was kind of. I was like, almost turned 6, and I was kind of freaking out. I didn't know. I had plans. I remember that they must have had lunch before we got there because they took us down to the lunchroom to eat. Me and it was myself, Bruce, Mike, and then Rich. It was we four went there first, and I had plans to. I was thinking I was eating. I'm going to sneak out of that car and hide in the car to get out of here because I was, it was a huge place. I was, didn't realize what I was getting into.
Yeah.
It was bothering me.
Sure. Yeah. There was one guy I interviewed. He said he cried the whole day. He was 5 years old, and he had no idea what was going on. Fortunately for him, some of the other boys came up and kind of tried to reassure him and stuff. I don't know if everybody got that, but
that's pretty much what happened.
Really?
I remember they had like an electric car that didn't work, and they put me in it, and they shoved me all around the sidewalk around the back here. So that kind of,
Huh. Yeah. Do you remember anything of the early days?
Yes, I remember looking for my brother.
Really? Okay.
Yes. I was in a foster home for 2 years, which was not a happy time.
Yeah. Yeah.
They weren't good people. But I do remember looking for my brothers. I knew they were there, and I was happy.
Good.
Yeah, I was happy to be there.
Huh. Did you find him without too much trouble, or?
Oh yeah.
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 Huh.
I think we went looking for him, if I remember right.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so you knew he was coming?
Yeah, I knew he was coming.
Huh. Interesting. Huh. Now, when you guys were there, was it pretty much separated, the girls on one side of the building and the boys on the other, or did you mix much?
Oh,
girls
yeah,
and
well, there was a
boys?
lot of mixture, yeah.
Was there?
Yeah, but there was 2 dormitories for girls, and there was 2 dormitories for the boys.
Okay.
Opposite. But there was a lot of, interaction.
Okay.
You couldn't help that.
Yeah. I wondered because like back in the 30s or 40s, sometimes some of them, I think they would eat meals together, but even then they'd all be separated, and they didn't. Sometimes during some periods they didn't see much of
Well,
each
they had
other.
that.
We were not allowed to go to their end of the building.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that was
Wasn't supposed to anyway.
Well, yeah, it wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
But outside, we played games and had a good time.
Okay,
it was good
good.
interaction.
Okay. Was there kind of a nice playground, or I don't know about nice, but was there a playground with different stuff to use much, or not much?
There wasn't much. There was a sliding board. We had a little swimming pool out back in ground.
Okay.
There was, I think, a giant stripes, what they called it. Maybe a couple
Huh.
teeter-totters. With the
Merry-go-round.
playhouses, they call them playhouses.
Yeah.
that was
Okay.
out back.
Were they like small?
Yes, just small dwellings, almost
tree
like
house
a covered picnic
Okay. Yeah, like a shelter thing.
shelter house. Right. And the swimming pool, I remember we figured out that if we put the sliding board next to the swimming pool, we could go down the board into the swimming pool.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
That would have been good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys have to work at the home much, or like?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
Well, it was a working farm.
Yeah.
So there's cows and milk, chickens to feed.
Yeah.
It was every day, twice a day. Plus, it was clean every day. We cleaned the building every day. You get up and you clean. You clean the dormitory. You clean the bathrooms. You clean the hallways. It was every day. It was, so.
But you'd have enough kids around, enough boys and or girls, that the work was divided equally among all the children.
Okay.
Not compared, but to your ability to do the job.
Really? Okay.
They wouldn't send a 6-year-old boy down to the barn to milk a cow.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah, they would pretty much wait until you got a little older.
Huh.
And we baled hay. We worked in the garden.
Huh.
You were on the Bureau of Motor Vehicles is now. That was one of our gardens.
Okay.
We used to garden that, and then we're right in front of the county garage. That was when I first moved there. That's where the garden was. Then we moved it down there because it had a lot more space.
Okay. Huh. What was the barn like? Do you remember much about that?
It was big.
Huh.
The hayloft was up above, and we milked the cows down around the back on the bottom.
Yeah.
But it was pretty neat. we'd play baseball, and
Yeah.
if you hit the hardball, if you hit the barn roof, it was automatic home run.
Yeah. So one guy was showing me around. Do you remember? He said if you're facing the children at the front of the children's home from Main Street,
Mm-hmm.
and he thought, as he was there before you guys, he thought the baseball field was back kind of behind it'd be the southwest corner, where there's a big parking lot,
Yeah.
sort of
Mhm.
maybe kind of the west end of the parking lot. Does that sound like it's
Yeah, it was
where
right.
the
It wasn't,
baseball field would be?
To the right, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was beautiful. That'd be the. It was pretty much right off the back end of the building as you're facing
Okay.
this way. On its right side here is pretty much maybe right there.
Okay.
There was a backstop there at one time, right across the road right there. So that's where the baseball field was.
Okay.
Was it the JC that would come every summer and we would play the JC?
JC's our Lions Club. I can't remember which one it was. Softball game. But there are a lot of kids. A lot of baseball teams will come down there to play.
Really? Okay.
Like little Babe Ruth teams or little league.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we pretty much smoked them because that's what
Really?
we did all day,
Interesting.
every day.
Yeah.
During the
Huh.
summertime,
Yeah.
Between milking cows,
Yeah.
we play in the morning and then we play in the afternoon.
And I suppose the milking cows would be good for your
Yeah.
for
and you're
batting,
baling
probably.
hay.
Yeah.
And, it was hard for people to come in and beat us.
Yeah, interesting.
Because we
Huh.
had several boys to choose from to make the team up.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
They got pretty good because that's all we did.
Yeah. Did you guys play any other sports there?
We
played Little League football
Okay.
Yeah,
back when they had. I think we played for North Trust.
North Trust Little League football here
Okay.
at North End here in town.
Yeah.
I played on North Trust. Tom played on North Trust.
Huh.
Yeah.
I grew up in Alliance. So
okay.
What we have is called Hot Stove Lake, but anyway.
Well,
yeah.
they put a recreation building after a few years. They put a recreation building up there, which is Zerger Hall.
Yeah, okay, right.
It's before they added on to it, but that was a basketball court in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Because you would have used that.
Yeah, it was our rec. We
While
called it
you're in
rec
the
building.
home.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It was a lot smaller at the time.
Huh. Okay.
But to play a lot in wintertime, we play a lot of basketball every day. In between, milking cows, that's what we'd be doing.
Huh.
Played a lot of football out there too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And captured a flag.
You captured the flag.
Yeah. Right.
So,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as work goes, you said about how they try to match the job to the age and that kind of thing. Do you feel like they were fairly fair and otherwise in supervising you, or?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Okay.
It was kind of a gripe between we had to work the garden, we had to do all the garden work, we had to do, and plus we had to do all the husking and it was kind of like we tease the girls because all they had to do was this or that.
Yeah.
And I remember one time they tried to they wanted to switch. They thought because they had to work in the kitchen and stuff, they wanted to switch. So one day that was it. They didn't want to do it anymore.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Huh. Was there certain animals you liked working with more than others, or did you work other than with the cows, or?
No, at one time they had pigs there when I first went.
Okay.
But they eliminated them. It's just mainly just cows and chickens.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that way we had our beef.
Yeah, that's
our
right.
Milk. We had we pasteurized our own milk.
Huh.
Yeah.
And our eggs.
Huh. How was the food in general that you remember?
Great.
Was it?
Oh yeah, they had
Okay.
some really good cooks, and a lot of it was from scratch.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
It was fed as much as you wanted to eat it too.
Oh,
No
really?
problem.
Huh.
There was.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. And they had these events for was it like once a month for kids' birthdays
Yeah.
and Christmas and that kind of thing?
Right.
Did they have something?
Yeah,
Okay.
they usually had a big thing for Christmas. Of course, they'd get outside people to donate money, and then you'd have a Christmas list you might want to, something you might want for Christmas. And
Okay.
they would go from there with that.
Huh.
And it was really neat because the people that you wouldn't know they would ask for volunteers to take the kids out during the holidays,
Huh.
and you would go to spend time at their house, and they would have a little gift for you maybe.
Oh, okay.
And Denison University was really great.
Oh, really?
They would come down and take us up to Granville for Halloween. I forget what club it.
There was a lot of them, different ones.
There's different clubs there at the university. And we had a lot. We went to football games and at Denison University, basketball games.
I never had heard about that. Interesting.
It was a good time. I mean, they would come down about once a week in the wintertime for help with the studies. And you went with one of them to his home in Chicago, didn't you?
Yeah, a few days. Yeah, Jeff Liddick. Yeah, I went up there for a week. I went with him. You know, I don't know why. I mean, he's got to be friends with me or something. You know.
Yeah. They kind of like. You'd get a favorite person from the university.
Okay.
These were all students that would come in, and
yeah, you know, like I remember John Davidson,
the singer guy.
Yeah, all the girls were, you know, they were nuts.
Oh, I'm sure.
Know.
I remember him on Hollywood Squares.
Yeah. He was always floating. They used to take us around Christmas time too. A lot of different
Huh.
fraternities and stuff. They were kids too. There'd be squirt gun battles,
Yeah,
and,
sure.
you know, and things like that. It was a lot of fun, really.
Did you go on any other trips? Like in the earlier years, some people talked about going up to. There's a Boy Scout camp up 79.
Camp Falling Rock. We had our own Boy Scout troop.
Oh, that's right.
Troop 11.
Troop 11. Yeah.
And we were good. I'll say that when I first joined the troop down there, and they had a Cub Scout group also. We had ragtag uniforms, and then Mr. Bird, Earl Bird, came along, and he was. What would you call it? House parent.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, okay.
And we would roll paper. We'd go throughout the neighborhood, the whole city, really, and collect newspaper. And we'd roll them in 10-pound rolls and sell them to Hall of Fame.
I can't remember who it was, but
But we made enough money to buy new uniforms, new utensils,
tents,
sleeping bags, and we were pretty sharp then.
Good.
We were very proud of that.
Yeah, we got a lot of ribbon. I mean, you'd have a flag with your troop, and then they would have blue ribbons and different camporees, and we got a lot of them. You know,
because we worked together, and we were together day after day after day. So
Did you go anywhere else besides Camp Falling Water?
There was a camp in Michigan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was sponsored by Rockwell at the time, which is Meritor now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They would take every once a year. They would take the boys. Well, actually, the girls would go later. They would go. You'd go up to Camp Michigan for a year. I mean, for a week. You know, cabins and things.
It was on the lake up there.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm by Toledo somewhere. I've always wondered. I can't remember where it was exactly, but
yeah, it was up around Toledo.
That was my sister
in Michigan. So we'd take a bus up, and they'd stop somewhere, and we'd have lunch. We had daycare or some. What was the YMCA? During the summertime, you'd go for a week of camp.
Day camp.
Day camp.
Okay. You guys didn't have a group through the YMCA called Indian Guides, did you? I was in that. Okay, I didn't know if they were around here or not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they kind of model it after Indians, and you do different activities that way. Okay.
The Boy Scouts had a program, the Order of the Arrows.
Oh, okay.
We actually got to do a lot of things for a lot of people don't get to do. Go play. I mean, because of where we are. You know, I don't know why. I mean, but, we just got to go places and see things and for a lot. Yeah. I mean,
can you think of anywhere else you got to, near or far?
Far would be.
I believe I was still on the children's home, and you were with the Wilsons, and we went to Niagara Falls.
You did? I didn't know that. I can't remember that.
Yeah, we went to Niagara Falls. We were allowed to. You worked for a man, and then you left the children's home. And shortly before you left, they would come every now and then. I guess it was on a lot of trust on that they placed upon us to go to people's house and do work and be paid for it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't slave labor.
Yeah, yeah.
Mowing the
I've heard others
lawn,
say that,
maybe.
yeah.
It wasn't slave labor.
Okay.
You know, maybe slave labor there at the children's home, but that's not.
Yeah.
Don't use that because that's
Yeah,
not
that's
the,
fine.
That's not the term.
Right, right.
Imagine every kid has to do their chores, but I have fond memories of Mr. Fowl.
Okay.
Was his name?
Yeah, he would weed his garden. I just, you know, he just did it just because he was a nice guy. You know, pay you a few bucks.
He was
for
an
him,
older
Saturday,
gentleman.
you know.
He lived nearby.
Yeah, he lived here in Newark.
Okay.
Right, actually, not too far.
Huh.
Yeah. He was. I considered him well-to-do at that time.
Okay.
But I think he paid me $1 an hour,
Huh.
which was good money.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was rich.
Yeah.
I was
Celebrity when he came back to.
Save enough to buy your own clothes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because when they had closets, they bring clothes in and you'd choose clothes out of the closet. We called it. But a lot of the times I just buy my own clothes. And, you know.
We were wearing blue jeans before they were fashionable.
Really?
Yeah.
And flannel shirts, and we all looked the same, but
Yeah.
looked the same. But they were.
I should have brought. Well, I'll have to see if we have any pictures from your time periods. Do you have some?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's in there or not.
Huh.
Yeah, there's some of them. I don't know where those other ones are. I don't know what's in here. Like Harry, there's Harry Burton. He was there. This is
a picture of some of the girls.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
See, that's what they call the boiler room here.
Okay.
That was like our clubhouse, and there's some of the girls down there. Yeah, that's what I don't have. I have some other ones. That's the rec building. So that's our.
Okay,
That's where there's a
Hall.
boiler room right there,
Yeah.
and then that's where
Here's a picture of the barn.
Oh,
and
I've
the
never.
car-
Yeah, yeah,
playhouse.
Oh,
yeah. We had
yeah.
a basketball court outside
Okay,
there
yeah.
too.
Somebody mentioned hoops, and I never saw
That,
those.
That's me, and that kid right there was the first. Him and his brothers were the first African Americans there.
Huh.
There were three of them I moved down.
Huh.
They brought down
Okay.
at the time.
Huh. Interesting.
There's a picture of the big monkey.
Oh yeah. Where is that now? Is it? Did they
They took
just
it
name
apart.
No
that?
more. They have the bucket in a park.
Okay, I thought
But
part of it was somewhere, but huh. Huh.
There's my memory.
Yeah.
It was good. He's proud of the court.
What's that?
Yeah.
He's proud of his court.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good to have those pictures. Some
Here's
people
another
regret.
picture of
Yeah. Of him.
of Larry and Jim, and I think
Huh.
let's see if we can't figure out where this was taken there at the Children's Home.
Okay.
In August of 1968.
Okay.
This might be over in this area here. Would be where the baseball diamond was.
Okay,
Looking
yeah.
towards.
Yeah.
And who was the man that was Kramer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
The man by the name of Kramer would come over and cut our hair.
Oh, really? Okay. Was were there issues with long hair at any point towards
Yeah,
the
it got to
later
be.
'60s?
Yeah, it got to be. They would, they would. It wasn't that bad though.
Yeah. What would you say was the quality of the staff there overall?
When I first got there, I thought there was a lot of older females, and they just weren't. It got a lot better when Earl Burge they finally got a male down at the boys' end. That's what they should have done probably.
Yeah.
Because some of them ladies weren't, in my opinion, weren't fit to be there.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff I seen them do was.
There was a time when society was beginning to look at how children were treated.
Yeah.
I can remember it was rough when I first got there. You had to, we always had to toe the line, so to speak.
So discipline was pretty pretty
rough.
tough.
Pretty tough.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of it was unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. That's I've heard others say that. Yeah.
But when Earl, I thought I have to give Earl the props. He was a good man, and things loosened up quite a bit when he got there.
I think Earl learned
Earl
as
Burge.
he went along.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think Earl learned a lot as he went along.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
had 3 children of his own,
Yeah.
but
Huh.
I think he got to the point where he's seen more than what a normal person would see who'd come into a situation like that with all the kids.
Yeah.
And I think he learned as he went
Okay.
along.
Okay. Interesting. Huh. What was school like? Did you guys have to walk to? You didn't have any school at the home, did you?
Not that time.
Yeah.
I went to Hazelwood for 6
Okay.
years.
Yeah.
Went to Lincoln for 3 years, and then went to North High for 3 years. So just 3 different schools.
Okay.
I went to Fallsburg,
Okay.
first and second grade, and went to Hazelwood, Lincoln, and then Newark High School. We would walk to Hazelwood
Okay.
and Lincoln.
Yeah.
Um,
That's sad. Lincoln isn't standing anymore.
No, I understand why they took it down.
Yeah.
It was a nice building. I mean, maybe it was falling down.
It looked
inside,
nice.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, but
That's all right.
that's fine.
um.
So I tell my kids I walk to school.
Yeah.
In cold weather,
Yeah.
uphill both ways.
Yeah.
Always moving up.
That's right. That's right. That's what I say too. About 6 miles in one way. And, yeah. Did you feel singled out at all when you were at school as being boys from the home, or did you feel like you could blend in at school like the other kids?
That's a hard question. I'm sure they knew who we were.
Yeah.
I think when we got to high school, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't really say I felt singled out.
Okay. Good.
At times I did.
Yeah.
But as long as you did your work, you were treated more or less like, or at least I was.
Yeah.
Like any normal student.
Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah, it never bothered me. I mean, I always figured it wasn't my fault I was there, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, a lot of people misconstrued it as being a place of where you went there when you were bad. It had nothing to do with it. Most of it's of course your parents.
Right. Right.
And a lot of the guys I went to school with, they enjoyed coming over because there'd be lots of things to do, and plus they like to come over and eat a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it never really affected me because
I felt that my friends at that time, if they had a problem with it, they wouldn't be my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had some good friends outside the children's home.
Good.
Matter of fact, I was kind of proud, to tell you the truth, because we'd go to school at the high school. We'd always pile in the van.
Okay.
And I'd always hold a sign up the back the window of children's home. And these
Huh.
guys, they would always.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was,
Tom was a little bit off the rocker there.
there you go. Huh?
Were there one guy said that I don't know, you talked about the discipline being pretty harsh at certain times at least. One guy said, this was in the early 50s maybe, he said sometimes it was fairly easy to sneak out, and and sometimes they'd be allowed to go out and walk a few blocks to some local stores and things like that. Did you do that any?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
There was a store down. Actually, there was probably 3 different stores within blocks.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Plus-
there was one man, Miller,
Yeah, that was.
who was a parent before, a house parent before
Okay.
the Burges, and they left and opened up Miller's store on East Main Street, which is now maybe a barber shop.
Yeah, down the east end down there.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Down by the Duke State. Well, actually, it's
Yeah.
not quite down to the Duke.
And there
the
was
north
the
side, I
Seaway.
think.
We'd go down to the Seaway,
Okay.
which was a store.
Which was Miller's eating place at one time.
Yeah. Okay.
Seaway used to be over off of Edward Avenue first, and then they moved it down there.
Okay.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. Plus, he would sneak out. He'd
Yeah,
just
you
go down
could
the tracks
sneak
and be gone all night. If you wanted
Yeah.
to. I mean,
But it would be hell to pay if you got
I'm
caught.
sure.
I
Yeah.
remember my memory of some of the older folks who were house parents. But they had these canes. They used to get them at fairs, and wooden canes. I don't know if you remember those or not. And I remember sitting on if you were bad, you sit on the bench.
Okay.
And they had these two long benches there in the playrooms. They call them playrooms on the boys' side and the girls' side. And you could sit on that bench for a few weeks. And you
Oh,
get to
really?
think about it.
Wow.
And we was all sitting. We always had to sit like this.
Oh, wow.
When the older folks were there. And I remember one time somebody did something. We all got cracked in the knuckles.
Wow.
You know, just like
With these canes.
yeah, with these canes.
Wow. Huh. I remember what they called the Board of Education at my school, which was paddle, but
No, they didn't. They didn't spare the paddle.
yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they went a little bit too cruel.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, that
you don't put a wet wash rag across somebody's bare bottom and take a wooden paddle and just
Hit 'em with
beat
it.
the hell out
Oh,
of it.
man.
That's
You know.
torture.
Yeah.
That's torture.
Yeah,
I had
yeah,
that
that's-
happen to me. That's not.
Yeah.
that's too far. Yeah.
I don't think I did anything to deserve
Yeah.
that. That's just somebody wanting to make teach everybody a lesson.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think sometimes they enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's some of these personalities get in that kind of position because they seem to like that kind of yeah, got kind of power, I guess, or whatever. I think. Oh,
Want to join in anytime? Go ahead.
Yeah, anything you can think of. Yeah. We'll put you on the spot if you don't volunteer anything. I'm just
I
kidding.
was just trying to find pictures. I don't know where we put them.
Yeah, that's all right. Oh, one other. Did they still have these lawn social things out in the front yards? What were those like? Did you remember?
They called that the ice cream social.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. They'd have once a year,
It like a fundraising event.
kind of like a little fair type thing. You know, they had
That
little.
was
Yeah.
a good time. That
Was it?
that was
So
a-
you didn't have. Sorry, you didn't have to work the whole time through it, setting up or.
No, usually that was
Whatever.
set up. We set it up like a day or so before.
Okay.
You know, we set the tables and things up like that. No.
If you did work, it was in shifts.
Okay.
But it was pretty cool because you'd go up to where the on the second floor there where the where Mr. Goddard's office was, and the front steps
Yeah.
would go up in the doors and open up, and you'd stand in there, and then people would come in and they'd want to take a tour.
Okay.
So you'd take them a tour, and then you kind of
Yeah.
get a little bit of money and.
Somebody else did that
Yeah,
back
they
in the
give you a
earlier
dollar
years.
or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
To us, that was something that was a lot of fun.
Okay.
A lot of fun.
Huh. Good.
There'd be some pretty good crowds down there when they had those.
I heard that. Yeah.
They used to have a huge Easter egg hunt also during Easter.
Oh, really?
I think it might have been the Lions Club. They'd bring, 3 dozen or whatever, 36 dozen boxes, and then hide them all over the place.
Huh.
Yeah, and then we'd take the dry ice from the ice cream section and throw it in the swimming pool. At the end of it, watch it melt
Yeah.
and smoke and. Who was it? I remember come down one time. Every now and then they'd have somebody come in and who was a movie star,
Huh.
and they'd big guy.
Oh, that was I don't know if you probably don't. I don't know if you're old enough to watch Roy Rogers.
Yeah. I
Remember that guy?
a little bit.
He used to drive the Jeep all the time.
Huh.
You know,
forget his
the
name.
big
Yeah,
heavy.
I don't have enough
Yeah,
memory
he-
to remember, but
I remember him coming down and
yeah, coming down and eating Sunday dinner with
had
us.
a gun, passed the gun around. I was
Really?
a little guy
Huh.
then, and I remember that.
Shoot, what's his name?
And then have bands come in every now and then,
Yeah,
country western.
Really?
And then we always had to watch programs that the house parents wanted to watch.
oh, okay.
But I remember when we got the colored TV, and that was
yeah. I'm the first color TV.
Huh. Were there any other celebrities you remembered coming by, or big names locally, or?
Well, there would be politicians show up
Yeah.
here and there.
but
There probably
okay.
was, but I don't remember.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm sure there was.
Yeah.
We used to go see a lot of them. We would go.
Really?
You know.
Mhm.
Did you go in any professional sports games or?
We used to go to the old Columbus Jets baseball
Okay.
team.
Huh. Huh.
I don't know if anybody else mentioned that sometime during the Christmas season, we would go to Columbus.
Yeah. Every year we go to every year.
There was a Secret Santa,
Huh.
Yeah, for
and then it was moved to Granville Inn.
once.
Huh.
Well, I think they had a special thing for us.
And we'd always ride up on a bus. They'd bring in a big bus, and we'd
Okay.
all ride up. And
That was for all the counties around in Columbus. That's all the children's homes in the different. It would go to Columbus
Okay.
every year.
Huh.
One-
get a
for
silver
Christmas.
dollar. They give
Yeah.
you a silver dollar.
We used to get five
Huh.
silver dollars every year.
Huh.
Wish I still had them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, silver today. Yeah, I never heard about that.
It was Andy Devine.
Oh,
That's who it
yeah.
was. Andy Devine.
Yeah, he had the funny voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of high pitched.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And he looked just like he did on TV at the time. Big guy.
He told a stupid joke. I'll never forget. He said the reason why he was so fat, he swallowed his bubble gum backwards. That's what he said.
Oh man, I'll have to remember that one for. Tell my girlfriend that so I don't have to lose weight. But oh yeah, I've seen him in a few old westerns.
Yeah.
Ah, huh. Was he? What was he like? Otherwise,
Funny,
did you remember?
nice guy.
Was he?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was doing in town. He must have been doing something in town. So,
Huh.
yeah.
Okay. Good.
It was a Sunday afternoon. We usually had a Sunday dinner at noon time. Would be a nice dinner, you
Huh.
know. And then Sunday evening they'd have sandwiches and ice cream. So
Huh. Okay.
I remember when we would go out to practice, basically during when we had the football team, York Trust and several others, and we would come back in. Same way when we would go swimming at night, we'd come back to children's home. We'd always go down to the dining room and have bologna sandwiches.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Because you work off
Yeah.
and you get kind of hungry when you're.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
mm-hmm. I like to chop ham. They have chopped ham too.
Huh.
So
Some
cut your own
Huh.
pieces out.
one guy said, and this was probably earlier. Every Sunday night they had peanut butter sandwiches.
Well,
something
that's
like
what you know. Most they had bologna sandwiches, ham
Okay.
sandwiches, because they
Yeah.
you know after staff would pretty much take it easy on a Sunday evening. you
Yeah.
know, kitchen staff.
Okay.
So yeah.
Huh. Huh.
And ice cream. They always have ice cream on Sunday night.
Oh, okay.
They had a candy room up on the second floor.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember one time we it was next to the big, what they call the big board door, and we
Huh.
tried to figure out how to take the hinges off to get into the.
Yeah.
We knew if we got caught.
Oh yeah. There'd be.
They also had a carpenter, full-time carpenter, and he did a good job.
Huh.
He would be responsible for in the winter, at Christmas time, make some elaborate display
Huh.
on the steps leading up to the building there.
Yeah.
And we'd always take brown paper bags and put sand in them, and we'd put a candle.
Oh right.
We'd light a half circle
Okay.
driveway.
On the drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And light it.
Huh.
It looked pretty neat.
That I'd think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Candy room made me think of something, and now I forget, of course. Well, while I'm trying to remember that, did you guys make any friends there that you've kept in touch with? Anybody since then, or?
No, not really. I mean,
Yeah,
you don't really see them that much.
yeah.
anymore,
That's how
you know.
a lot of other guys. Yeah, the way people move around and all that, it's pretty hard to.
You know, I was awful when I went there. I was young, and then
Yeah.
by the time I got out of there, I was there longer than anybody that else was there.
Huh.
And everybody that was older than me, they were gone
Yeah.
by the time I left.
Yeah.
So I never really, don't see them. I see someone of them occasionally and talk to them.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. That's a pretty common
Yeah.
common thing with people I've talked to. Yeah. Like you said. Yeah.
But we've made friends with people that I've met 40 years ago that I'm still friends with.
Okay.
After I got out of the children's home.
Yeah. Okay.
But I rarely see anybody because I live in Muskingum County.
Right. Yeah.
And
Huh.
rarely.
Okay. Okay. What have you what kind of jobs have you guys had since you left there? You now want to use a truck driver? Is that right?
I am. I've worked for same company now, going on 24 years.
Okay.
So yeah, I drove a beer truck and a milk truck in Florida when I lived down there for a year before I moved up here. Worked out of the labor union hall for years, down here downtown.
Right.
Construction but
yeah.
Been out there for 20, going on 24 now. So
boy, that's unusual these days.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I know the time flies.
I worked at Labor Hall.
Okay.
Like Jim, and we used to work at Deweese Brothers Grocery.
Okay.
On Granville Street here in Newark. I worked for coal mine.
Okay.
And I retired from the city of Zanesville.
Okay. Where was the coal mine?
The coal mine was between Adamsville and Dresden.
Oh, I know where Dresden is. Yeah.
On State Route 208.
Okay.
We closed down in 1988, I believe. And I stuck around for a couple of years after that to help with the ponds and take care of the warehouse. I was a warehouse supervisor at that time.
Okay. Yeah, good. I think that's all the questions I came prepared with. Any other things you guys can think of that you wanted to add, or if not, that's fine. But just wanted to give you a chance if there's anything else you thought of.
I just hope that people live the good life.
Yeah.
And
sorry.
not use that as a bad thing of living in children's homes, because it really was, to me anyway.
I'm sorry?
I hope they had a good life, and
Yeah.
that they don't feel bad because they did live in children's home, because
Yeah.
it's not their fault. It wasn't
Yeah,
our
sure.
fault.
Yeah.
I remember going once, also with our grandmother. She would come down during visiting day once every first Saturday of every month.
Yeah.
She would come, and they had visitor day, and people would come and visit. And our grandmother, she'd come down religiously, and then she'd always take us out to her house, New Straitsville or Gloucester,
for a week or two. Yeah.
And I was moved. I was visibly moved when my grandmother died.
Yeah. About how old were you then?
I was 17,
Okay.
I believe, when she died.
Yeah.
17, 18, maybe 19 years old when she died.
Yeah.
My experiences down there weren't that. I mean, I look at it as a positive.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of guys that didn't, and a lot of them were after they left, or some of them got hauled off. But overall, I look at it as a positive.
Okay. Good. That kind of leads into something else I just remembered. Based on your experiences and your opinions, do you think it would be a good idea to bring back institutions like that? But you mentioned some experiences you had in a foster home, and I guess there's advantages and disadvantages to either. But do you think if they could be run a certain way, it might be good to bring back children's homes, or not?
Well, if they could be run a certain way, if you can have the right people, but that would be, that could turn bad.
Sure.
But everything is for profit nowadays, so I think it would probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, like this one out here on 13, it's where they put a lot of foster kids, and that's all for profit. And sometimes that's not the best. So.
Right.
But I don't think it would be bad if it was done right.
Okay.
I don't really know. The way society is nowadays, I'm sure that there are some children who may need a little bit more discipline than others.
Yeah.
I didn't beat my children.
Yeah.
They turned out great.
Right.
and I don't say you should beat a child.
Right.
I just don't. I can't answer that question.
That's fine.
I just.
That's fine. In a way, you guys put a lot of wisdom down in this recording anyway, without having to answer that. I think it's one of those things. It's a hard question to answer, no matter what. I think so.
Yeah,
Okay.
the way things are, you can't trust people. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just,
There's human nature. You're going to
Yeah.
deal with it wherever you are, and in my opinion, but
It would be a great idea if it was ran in such a way that it would benefit the children.
right. That's the
That's
first
the bottom
priority.
line.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else you guys can think of, that's all I had to ask you. And I greatly appreciate your time and what you had to say, and a lot of thoughtful comments you guys had. So I guess we'll sign off now.
okay.